Hi there, I just thought I'd record a short video really about weight loss, because there's so much being posted within social media that is either bro science, personal opinion or whatever, and I would much rather weight loss was gone about from an evidence-based standpoint. To my mind and from my PhD, there are three key elements that a weight loss program really requires. And the first, and maybe the most important of those, is psychological readiness. Is the individual kind of really ready to make a change? And you might think because somebody takes on a personal trainer, joins a gym, goes to Slimming World, Weight Watchers or whatever, surely that's a sign that they're ready to change. But that's not always true. People will often go along to these things, take up programs, whatever, for numerous different reasons, but at a subconscious level, and the majority of your brain's processing is going on subconsciously. If subconsciously you're not ready to change, then your long-term chances of success are actually quite small. And one of the things that we discovered within my research from PhD was that you can actually test for these elements and see if somebody is psychologically ready to change. So the behaviour change workshop looks at some of this, looks at the way people talk, their self-talk, the things they say to themselves, how they convince themselves, how they talk themselves in and out of maybe a good or a bad dietary choice, or are they going to exercise, are they going to get active, all these type of things. And it's all being driven really at a subconscious level. So understanding a person's psychological makeup and being able to motivate them and educate them in the right way, because the other thing that came out of my work was, depending on a person's level of psychological readiness, actually depends about the way you should put information across to them. So people will respond differently to the information they're being given, dependent on their stage of change and where they are in the change process. And if you can monitor that and make sure that they're moving in the right direction psychologically, your long-term chances of success are actually greatly improved. The next element is activity. And you notice I say activity and not exercise, because again, from a psychological perspective, language you use can be quite emotive, and exercise has got quite kind of negative connotations for a lot of people. But if you talk about activity, people can buy into that idea, people can get active, they know they can do it. And at the end of the day, if you're a personal trainer working with these clients, you might see them 2-3 times a week, 4 if you're really lucky. But that's 2 to 3 hours out of a complete week. And it's what they're doing the rest of the time that you want to be concerned with, because you certainly don't want people going away with the idea that, well, I've done my 2 or 3 hours with the trainer, that's me sorted. So the activity, the exercise side of it, I don't think you should ever get too tied up in, is this a fat burning exercise, is this, is this that, because it's actually fairly irrelevant. Get the client active, keep them active, and one of the key ways of doing that is actually self-monitoring. So getting the client to use things like Fitbit, accelerometers, pedometers, whatever it might be, any degree of self-monitoring, so as they understand what their level of activity is on a daily basis, and that will motivate them to move forward. The final element of any successful weight management program is going to be nutrition, and I am not on about diets. I don't care whether you want to call it flexible dieting, counting your macros, paleo, all these plans, they're diets, and diets do not work. What you have to do is educate your client about nutrition. And if you're going to do that, then your education yourself, your knowledge must be evidence-based. And so the Applied Nutrition Supplementation course gives you that underpinning knowledge so as you can move clients forward. I never give clients diet plans. I always work with what they currently do and then make slow adjustments as we go on and use their knowledge to feed into that. So get the client to come up with suggestions, because if the client is making suggestions about things they might change or can't change or whatever, then there's more buy-in if it's their idea. So on face value, it is very simple. It's 3 key elements. Are you psychologically ready? Make sure you can assess that. Is the client active? Can they keep active? And most probably, do they enjoy that activity? Because if they enjoy it, they're more likely to keep doing it. And then most importantly, diet, nutrition. And it's making small changes. For a lot of clients that you work with, for a lot of people trying to lose weight, they're never going to get to their ideal weight. But if they lose 5% of whatever weight they're at currently, that will have massive health benefits to them. And I don't think we should ever lose sight of the fact that this should be about health and well-being. And a lot of clients aren't interested in the slightest about being able to run 5K, 10K, a marathon, do CrossFit, whatever it might be. But if they're that bit healthier, that bit more productive, it adds some kind of years to their life and quality of life, then you've done them a big service. So I don't think we should ever try and impose our own goals, our own outlook on individuals. Help them achieve the changes they want and that are valuable to them. You may not see it as that great, but to them they could be really big steps. And the key to doing that is understanding the client from a psychological perspective, understanding nutrition sufficiently that you can give sound, solid, evidence-based advice, and then helping facilitate activity, whether that be just a little walk now and again, or whether that be formal exercise with a trainer. Whatever it is, if you're getting them moving, there's going to be a benefit long term. And if you build that everyday activity into their life so as it is everyday activity, then you are doing a great job. So just a short piece there to look at some of the basics, and I think everybody needs to look at their own programs when they're working with individuals, or before you even buy into a program if you're trying to lose weight, and think, does this address all these elements? Because if you fail to miss one of those elements, or if one of those elements is missing, should I say, then in the long term the program will be doomed to failure. And that's no good to anyone as a trainer, and it's certainly no good to the individual trying to lose weight, because we end up back on that little yo-yo or merry-go-round, whatever way you want to describe it, of new diet, next diet comes along, OK Magazine says this, Chat Magazine says this, the latest fad in weight loss is this. We don't want that. We want lifestyle change based on sound nutritional changes, increases in activity, and really wanting to do it from a psychological perspective.